Hello, this is Dr. Lazar Jancic from Leederville Chiropractic Clinic, and this month I will be talking about the upper limb, meaning shoulder, elbows, wrists and hands, and all the different conditions, or many of the different conditions that commonly affect the upper limb. This video in particular will be about something called carpal tunnel syndrome. If you've experienced it, you will know what I'm talking about, but it's characterized by pins and needles in the fingers, but not just any fingers. We're really talking about the thumb, index, and middle fingers. If you're getting pins and needles in the other two fingers or your whole hand, that is technically not carpal tunnel syndrome. That is something else, which we'll touch on in a second. So, if you've ever experienced it, you'll know that carpal tunnel is quite a nuisance and it affects your daily life. Now, often the solution, if you go down a medical pathway, is surgery. And what we know and what research is showing is that 75% of people that have had carpal tunnel surgery have the pain return, or the symptom, the tingling and numbness, return within 2 years. And of course, as is often the case with surgery, it's not really addressing the underlying cause, and that's why we're seeing a return in the symptoms. So what exactly is going on and what causes carpal tunnel? Carpal tunnel syndrome is, or that tingling and numbness, is usually as a result of pressure on the median nerve. Now that median nerve does pass through a tunnel in your wrist. And so the theory is that pressure on that tunnel in your wrist will create the tingling. And often the surgery is to cut or to expand, to give that tunnel more breathing space and less pressure on the nerve. And it can work temporarily, but because we're not addressing the cause, often the pain comes back. And so what causes irritation of these nerves in our hands and arms is usually a result of repetitive movements. Now that can be kind of physical labor type jobs, it can be a desk job, but a lot of those repetitive movements in the upper limb cause irritation and inflammation over time, which causes the body to lay down more scar tissue. Think of this a little bit like rust. And over time, these joints and pathways that the nerves pass through in our arm, they become congested and limited in space and can start to irritate these nerves. As I said earlier, they're quite different conditions depending on which fingers you're getting tingles in. If you're getting tingles in the whole, in all the fingers, that's usually a problem higher up and is often a strong correlation with neck problems, neck and mid-back. If it's these two fingers, that's your ulnar nerve or the funny bone. That could be other things around the elbow, but again, often connected to either positional. If you're sleeping with your elbow bent more than 90 degrees, you can possibly cut off circulation to that nerve and irritate it. But also with repetitive strains and inflammation, you can also start to irritate the ulnar nerve. So again, it's very important to find the cause of and the location of the nerve irritation in question with your condition. It's important to note that new research, interesting new research, has shown a direct correlation between wrist pain and stiffness in your neck. And what they found is that as the stiffness in the neck increased, the pain in the so too did the pain in the wrist. So that's showing you a direct connection between what's happening in the neck and the wrist. Now, of course, all those nerves that come into our arm and hands and fingers, they all stem from the neck. So what we find as chiropractors is a lot of tingling and pins and needles is actually coming from irritation in the neck and your, believe it or not, even as low down as your mid-back. And if that is the source of nerve irritation, that is where chiropractic is a fantastic solution. Of course, in my clinic, I'm trained to assess the entire limb and figure out what is the cause of your tingling and pins and needles so we can address the cause. That's always critical. But if you haven't considered it, chiropractic is a fantastic option for carpal tunnel syndrome. And it's of course a natural solution. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave some comments below. And until next time, this is Dr. Lazar Jancic from Leederville Chiropractic Clinic.